Good evening. You're welcome to our training seminar titled Unleashing the Complete Man. Um, I particularly love this topic because it cuts across the different fabrics of being a man, about being a father, being a husband, and being yourself as a man. And we're going to be having esteemed coach BSO um, teaching us, guiding us in light of the scriptures. And I believe it's going to be very insightful and very life changing. So it's something to look forward to. Even as just give me stay tuned. We'll be right back. A few seconds. So we're here. What comes to your mind? What are you expecting from this class today? Um, what are you looking forward to? The word unleashing, it means several things, different peoples. You know, it could have a connotation, something that's going out wild, but in the context of what we're talking about today, it is coming out in the full force of glory, beauty, and excellence. That's what we're dealing with today. Um, so you're gonna just sit forward, relax. Some things you would hear may come to you as new information. Just prepare your heart, be ready to receive because training. I recall few years back, he gathered us some men in his apartment, and it was the topic was in the light of what we're going to be discussing tonight, and it was in fact was the right thing to do. This was what we needed at the time because I remember talking about family vision. That do you have a vision? I didn't understand what that meant. I didn't at that time. In fact, I took notes. And I heard things that sparked interest in and made me know that I needed to be more like I needed to become for my family. And today, I am a living testimony of Coach BSO's trainings. I have really improved. My family is all smiles. There's so much beauty, there's so much peace, there's so much understanding. Now we have a clear vision, we have goals, I recall something that someone posted in our group last yesterday, and it was a woman that posted why she was breaking up her marriage. But when I watched, when I went to the content, I think that the answer was in what Coach BSO was going to be talking about today. So who is Coach BSO? I'll just quickly run through his just a minute. Okay. He is a life coach. He has been at this for well over a decade, inspiring couples in the light of marriage and even beyond marriage. You become being yourself that God has in store for you. He's a life coach. It goes beyond marriage. You even understand, like Socrates said, man, know thyself. Truly, it would guide you to know yourself so that you can become for yourself first, so that you can become for your family. So I'm going to be opening the floor now for us to listen to Coach BSO, and I can guarantee you will be blown away, greatly blessed. I'll be inviting Coach BSO to take the floor now. Thank you, Coach. You're welcome to take the floor. Yes, coach. I can hear you, and I believe we can hear you.
Family, then you are most likely to get it right with the society. For both science and history and every other form of research has proven that societies that cast down their men end up being a society filled with many problems but one. So if you look into the problems that different nations are facing right now, unknown to a lot of them, some would say is an economic problem. They would say is a geopolitical problem. They would say they call different things. But I have looked at it and looked at it and looked at it, and I still believe that it's a family problem because that's where it all starts from. Whether it be a community or a state or a region or a country or a continent, I think the challenge starts from the family. So the day this ideology or this clarity came to me, I said to myself, then maybe I should start doing something to fix this. It reminds me of a story that was once told me by someone talking about a young girl that was by the seashore, picking up starfish that was being washed off by the you doing? She said she's being washed out by the sea. And the person was like, time, you can't save all of them. And she said, yes, she knows she can't save all of them. But for that singular one that she's able to throw back, she would have given that one an opportunity to live one more day, to get another opportunity of life. So one could say to me, but Coach BSO, how can you reach everybody in the world? You can't reach everybody in the world with this your theory. And I would say, well, you might be right. But for every one man, every one wife that I'm able to speak with and I'm able to help see the light, that is one nation that I have helped save. For the nation of Israel came from one man, Abraham, and just made Israel, being one of the oldest nation alive, so the oldest nation alive. So my aim is to help young families become godly families so that my children, and if the Lord tarries, my grandchildren would have godly people around them to live with, to walk with, to do a whole lot with. All right. So these are my motivation. This is what I look towards, to do. Now, that said, I'm going to go on. I just saw a message. I hope I'm still being heard and I hope all is well. Okay, so I'm going to go
Yes,
right
you're being
along.
heard. Now it's
Today
perfect.
we're talking about, all right, then. Thank you very much. All right, so today we're talking about unleashing the complete man. I know we've had this class, like you said earlier, Mr. Host, you said we had this class. Yeah, so in my head, I still feel like we had the class with the ace men, even though that was not the case. We had this class before the ACET. So I might be making references to that class as though the people in this class were there. And when I do, please feel free to pull my attention to say, oh no, maybe I need to break it down a little further. If break it down a little further. If times like that come up, please don't hold back getting my attention. All right. So what do we mean by unleashing the complete man? Now, this particular title is a rather generalistic kind of title. You could take it from 1,001 ways. I will try to just narrow it down to what we are focused on today. So we're talking about embracing the intersection between masculinity, marriage, and fatherhood. That's the aspect with which we are looking at the complete man. I remember there was a conversation where that was going on the Ace Man group, and every once in a while I just open these groups that being opportune to be in. And that day was the Ace Man, and I saw the conversation going on. But the direction with which it was going gave me some concern, and my concern that day was that it looked like and my concern that day was that it looked like the men that day that were having conversation were focused on their benefits as, and I thought that wasn't the best way to go about the conversation that they were on. If the man is to the wife what Christ is to the church, then you must understand that Christ was not focused on what he would get back from men, but he was focused on what he was going to do to make man all that God had called man to be. In that same vein, you know, I think that men, the ace men, the husbands, the fathers, should look at what they need to do to aid to them, and that's like for I'm just using the word allocate now. Okay? All those that have been allocated to you in the sense of your wife, your kids, your help, house helps, all those that have been put under your care. Your focus should be to aid them, to help them, to build them to become everything that God have assigned for them to be. So in that day, I remember I posted, I was like, that your duty is to be the priest to your family. I don't know if you guys remembered, if a lot of you were present or you saw that conversation. I said something in the tune of, let me see if I can pull it up. Say, as a husband and a father, stand in your office as priests and prophets over your family. Be the first example of godly men or a godly man to your wife and children. If you think it's hard to do, then let that be one of your reasons to hold on to God and His word more than ever before. His word is able to build you up and deliver to you your inheritance. So he says, bear in mind the quality of family you have, right? The quality of family you have is your report card. The husband and the father you are is the report card of the husband and father that you are. So saying this, I hope I didn't rush through it too quickly because I was just reading off the message I sent. I want that to trigger your thinking. And by that, I would like to ask a question. I like to start lots of this class with a question as a baseline. And my question to you is, what is your idea? What do you think masculinity is? What is masculinity to you? What is your understanding of masculinity? And I'm not talking about just the definition of it because it varies from time to time. It varies from society to society, from place to place. That's why I ended it with to you. What is masculinity? Um, Mr. Host, do you want to throw a light on this? Let me hear a short and simple description of what you think masculinity is.
Thank
I
you
hope you
for
can still hear me.
the opportunity. The word masculinity, I want to take it right back to the beginning when God created man. You know, God decided to create an image according to his likeness, to be like him. and um, he created the man to dress the vine that he had made. That's the vineyard, to take care of all that he had created. He wanted somebody to be in fellowship with him. And of course, the man had some responsibility. That means he named, like for example, the Bible talks about man naming the animals, and he was supposed to subdue the earth, he was supposed to dominate, he was supposed to be in charge of all that God created. So that was the idea, the design of the man that God created. And that's what it means to be a man, to be masculine. Thank you, coach.
All right. Thank you very much. So, what you actually was explaining is being a man, being created at God's image, right? But the word in itself, masculinity, which is a word that has been used a lot in this modern day to describe men, and the very popular one they would say is a toxic masculinity and all. So, what exactly is that word? What does it mean?
Okay.
Yeah, some would say, oh, it's a Latin word that originated, but they talk about the origin and all. But in this day and age, what is it? Masculinity is a social construct that defines the behavior, responsibility, and expectation traditionally associated with a man, simply placed. So it's a social construct. So it wasn't there in the Bible days when God was creating man. He did not say, oh, I want to create man to be masculine. No, it was something that at some point in the 14th, 15th century, they came about it to describe the features and the responsibilities and attributes of a man, not man in terms of human, but the male gender and their expectations, things that are associated with them. And like I said, it has changed over time. It has changed from different society. Like the Urobo society, for instance, of Nigeria, there's a time where it was known that the men didn't go out to work. The man's authority job was to stay and be the man at home and ensure that they procreated. Women were the ones, he would own properties, but the women were the ones that were responsible for going to the farm and tilling the ground. It's not the man's responsibility to till the ground. It's the man's responsibility to king over the home and to give others, drink palm wine and do all that. That is in the Urobo environment. In the Eastern Igbo environment of Nigeria, for instance, the man was the Odogu. He was the sole provider. So masculinity in these two cultures is different. you know but what are we looking at? I also remember in my response in that chat, I talked about the different types of families. I talked about the traditional family, I talked about the modern family, and I talked about the Christian family. So but we always dwell on the Christian part of everything. So as a man, for you to be masculine in terms of a Christian, yes, we can go back to Genesis because the beginning of everything is in Genesis. What was God's instruction to man in Genesis? He gave the man the instruction or the task of attending to his environment. Do you understand? Dominating his environment, ruling over his environment, attending to it, seeing that it is kept under dominion the way God has assigned it to be, thereby protecting his family and providing for his family. So, biblically speaking, that's in a summation, that's what it is. But now, bringing it down to today's conversation, how does it intertwine between being married and fatherhood? All right. So, I would bring it now close to the being married part and the fatherhood. And I pray that we have enough time to jump through that because of the time for technical issues. We lost a little bit of time there. So, I'm going to rush through. But please feel free to send in your questions. Now, this is where it gets interesting. You are a man. Why do you think you are a man? What makes you a man? You're a husband. Why do you think you are a husband? Because you did your wedding, obviously. Now, but what are your ideologies as a man? The host talked about the first time I had this meeting with them, I was asking them about what's your family goal? What are the dreams for your family? And I want to borrow from that class again and bring it in. As a man today, you are married, yes. Why did you get married? Why did you get married to the person you got married to? And why do you have the kind of family that you have right now? The answer to all these questions is resided inside of you. But there are questions that you need to ask yourself critically and try it as much as possible not to be biased. The more critical you are in your answer, the better the answer you get and the better your life will become. What kind of man are you? Do you even know? Why did you get married? What was your intention? Was it just to raise children, give birth? Your wife gets pregnant, gives birth. After a while, you knock her again. She gives birth again. You knock her again. Why do you want to have 5 kids? Why do you want to have one child? Why do you want to have 3 kids? Is it a good figure, or is it because it aligned with your goal? Do you have a goal? How do you govern your family? What does your family expect from you as a result of your communication to them? What are their expectations of you? What are your expectations of them? Please bear in mind, I'm going to throw in a lot of questions, and I'm hoping that you take down these questions because they are questions that you could use to do your self searching. What kind of man are you? What kind of family do you have? What kind of family do you want to have? Are you willing to do what it takes for you to create that kind of family that you want to have? I wrote down here in my note while I was studying preparation for this class, I said, you have to be clear about what you want. What is that? In respect to what we're talking about, the kind of family that you want, you need to be very, very clear about the kind of family that you want. That leads to another question. What kind of families are there? I'm not going to start telling you, Brain, that's not the kind of family I'm talking about. What kind of family do you want to have? When you were younger, some of you had the opportunity of going to visit an uncle and auntie. You got there and you enjoyed being a part of that family for the time when you were having that holiday. So much so that when the holiday was over, it was difficult for you to form your real family. What were they doing in that farm that made you love to stay there? Have you been able to replicate that in your immediate family? You know, so in doing this, one of the things that I found that really strengthens a man, to go all out is the end result. When you get to 60 or 70, what do you want to be the description of? That's a very good way to have a vision. For those that have problem creating a vision for their family, a very good way to have a vision is ask yourself, by the time you're 70 or you're 80 or you're 90, right? How would you want your family, the one you have created, to be described? What are the key words that you want to be in the sentence when your family is being described? Write them down. There could be 3 keywords, there could be 5 keywords. Make a sentence or 2. Then look at the key descriptive words that was used to describe your family. Oh, it's that family is a Christian family that loved the Lord and they prospered in everything they did or that they do. Oh, this family is a very loving family. They are very warm. They are very welcoming. They are very kind set of people. Oh, this family, they are academicians. They are good with academics. They have been able to do this. They did this. They did that. This is what they are known for. Oh, they are very good merchants. They are business people. They've grown this organization, that organization, this one, down, down, down. Or they are very cruel people. They have money, but they are very cruel. As in, you can't relate with them. They are very mean people. Or they are very toxic. What kind of family do you want your family to be described as in the next 50 to 60 years? Whatever your answer is, write it down and ask yourself, what do I need to do starting today to give me this kind of family that I want my family to be called, as in described with, in the next 50 years? What are the things I need to put in check right now? You want your family to be described as a Christian loving family. What are the Christian loving things you are doing right now as a man, as a husband, and as a father? Because these three distinctive things have its place. Your plan as a man, your plan as a husband, your plan as a father, with regards to where you are going, that clear vision that you already have for your family. And the thing about family vision is that they are not a secret. You don't keep it as a secret from your wife or from your children. You share it so that they know. Because the sharing of this vision to their actions. What is your vision for your family? Do you have any? If you don't, I just explained to you how to come up with one. And don't worry, your visions can change over time. You can get better with time. You can be more fine-tuned with time as you grow, as you get more knowledge. But you need to have one. You need to have one written out. You need to have one that's very clear, that you understand, your wife understand, your children understand. You need to be about something. You need to be going somewhere. Your life as a family should not be anywhere but left face. After all, I pay their school fees. After all, I have a house over their head, a roof over their head. After all, I do this, I do that. Then it's a good family. Your family should be like vector quantity. It has motion and it has a direction. It shouldn't be scalar quantity that it's just there. It should have motion and it should have a direction. What direction are you leading your family in? It's in the scripture. God holds the head, the man responsible for the family. So much so that you hear the scripture talk about the man that says, as for me and my family, this is what we're going to do. Abraham understood, Isaac understood, Jacob understood, Joseph understood. And so they followed suit according to the understanding of the vision that has been laid to them by their fathers and the fathers before them. What would you say you are laying down right now that your children could say, oh, these are the things that was laid down for us by my father? You know, I was having a conversation with someone a few weeks back, and I told the person, I said, whilst it is wonderful when I hear people talk about when they were describing pastor, by pastor I mean our pastor, when they refer to him as their mentor, when they refer to him as their coach, their leader, their this, their that, fantastic description, fantastic for him. But for you, my question to you is, how good a job did your biological father do that made somebody else to be your life coach, your mentor, your father? Have you taken out time to think about it? And whilst you are on it and you're trying to point fingers at your parents, you are now the parents of today. Ask yourself, how good a job are you doing such that your kids will not grow up and have somebody else as their mentor, their father, their leader, their all that and all that? Where does that put you? What does that say about the quality of work that you have put in raising them? I wrote this down while I was meditating. I said, be the hero, or rather, be the first hero to your family. As a man, you can't force it on them. It is gotten out of your response, out of your leadership, that accolade is given. You can't force it on your family. You have to be determined to be the hero of your family. You have to determine to be the mentor of your family. You have to determine, because all that comes with the first thing I told you, which is have a clear direction, have clarity on what you want. Then having the willingness and the strength to do what it requires to get that thing that you want with regards to your family, how you want your family to be, how you want your family to run. Now, I'm talking in different parts, so I'm hoping that as I'm talking into different things, you're able to take the one that relates to you. All right, so this is one of those classes that I'm not trying to be all academic. I'm just laying it out as it's been put in my heart, and I'm hoping that, I'm not just hoping, but I pray that it communicates light to you So, as that masculine man, I'm not talking about being toxic. We'll talk about what toxic and all that means. And the way they describe toxic men nowadays, it's not toxic, it's actually being a man, standing up, your shoulders squared, taking up responsibilities. Yeah, and it's not about your happiness, it's about hitting the goal, having clarity, being able to draw, to create that have been put into your heart by God. I know, but for some people that is far fetched because they rarely even hear from God. As a matter of fact, some men have never heard from God. So I'm thinking to myself, if you've never had enough time, spent enough time with God, enough to hear from Him, how in the name of God are you able to lead your family? How? You need to be clear about what family is to you. You need to be clear about what kind of family that you want to build. And you need to be clear about how much you are family that you have in your heart. You have to be clear, very clear. And now, in this class, I'm not going to be talking about the wives and what the wife did right and did not do right. I saw the video that was posted by someone earlier on about the lady that was nagging and talking about all the things the husband did not do right. That's another day's conversation. We're not talking about what the wives did not do right now. We're talking about what the men can do better, how they can hear better from God, how they can act better, have a better response, a quicker response to what God have asked them to do, how to have a clear vision of what they want their family to be like. I'll give a clear example. A lot of people know Bill Gates as one-time richest man in the world, how he did not have anything. Then he now wrote a program, he now sold it to IBM. Then he now had a big break. Then before you knew it, he now had Microsoft. Then one thing led to another, he now became the richest man in the world at the time. What a lot of people do not know is that Bill Gates Sr. raised Bill Gates to be exactly the man that he is today. You can go and read up about Bill Gates Sr. Bill Gates Sr. was not a wimp of a man. He was very clear about the kind of child he was raising. Bill Gates was not raised in a loose environment. He was not raised in an environment where he did not know his left from his right. As a matter of fact, all this globalist agenda that he's into right now did not start from him. It did not start from him. It was as a result of the raising that his father gave to him. There reminds me of a scripture that says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's grown, he will not depart from it. How are you raising your children? Now, let's quickly jump to the family part. I said in my description earlier, I said, your children, your family right now is your report card as a husband and as a father. When you look at your family, I don't know if you're already home or because I'm not home now, I'm still at the office, but maybe where you are, you're already at home, or at the time where you're listening to this, you're already home. Look at your family, whether they be good, bad, or ugly. Right now, they are the report card to how excellent of a father and a husband that you are. That's your report card. What you see right in front of you is your report card. If you do not like it, tell yourself, okay, it means I need to work at it. What don't you like? What do you want to fix? Why do you want to fix it? Is it because of your own ego? Or is it because that is what the word of God says? And I'm having this class with the intent that everyone on it is a Christian, believes in God, is born again. Okay, so I'm having it's a Christian class. So that said, the family that you're looking at, that you see, is that the example of the kind of family you want to have? If the answer is no, first, know that you are responsible for what you have. That is one. Secondly, you can change it to becoming what you desire. What are you willing to do or give to move it from where it is right now to where you want it to be? It's your responsibility, fully, completely. But you need to put first things first, which is you need to be clear about where you want the family to go to. Then you now have to ask yourself, how can I do that? What and what do I need to put in place? You want your family to be described as a Christian family. How many times in a day do you have time to pray with this family? How many times a day do you have time? Not just times, but how many minutes a day do you spend teaching your family the word of God? Not what pastor preached on Sunday or Wednesday that you managed to be in church. No, I'm talking about daily. What do you do daily with regards raising your children and your family entirely in the ways of the Lord? What Christian practices do you guys practice, do you have at home? What are they? You need to have Christian practices done, led by you, because you are leading by example. Christian practices led by you.
Hello.
It could be reading the Rhapsody. Yes.
We need to restart the system quickly. Take tips about.
All right. Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Okay, right back, and coach has been giving it to us. It's been very insightful. I particularly like the word, the line that states that I should be the hero, I should be the first hero to my family. And whenever I've seen my family currently, it's just work hard, tell, and then of course, coach is now what we can do to change the narrative. So in case you're something people like, you can comment and please subscribe to the channel so that anytime I'm doing live like this, you're in us. Thank you. You can write content. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. All right, so I'll go right along. So I was saying about how, yes, you should be the first hero that your family knows. You should be that man that your kids wants to be like. You should be your child's superhero. You should be your wife's superhero. If you think your wife is being disrespectful, right? She's not just being disrespectful because she wants to be. She's being most likely disrespectful because you have not been all that you want her, she wants you to be. And it's not dependent on her. It's still dependent on you. You have not communicated the vision clearly enough. You know, some men will say that women only respect you when you have money. I beg to differ. Women only respect you when you know who you are. And that is not as a result of pride, raising your shoulder and saying, I know who I am. No, no, that's not it. It's about your deeds. They know what you stand for. They know that they are safe with you. It doesn't matter if you have one naira or you have 1 billion naira. They know that they can trust their lives in your hands. They know that you can defend, you can care, you can provide for them. You say, oh, but provision needs money. Not in all cases. They know that if the chip is down, they are safe with you. Do your family feel that way about you? Have they been able to gain that kind of confidence with you as their head, as the husband, as their father? If the answer is no, then you have work to do. You need to clearly state right out to yourself the kind of husband you want to be, how you want your description to be. All of these things starts with asking yourself questions, futuristic questions. How do I want to be described in the next 5 years? How do I want my wife? What kind of perception do I want my wife to have about me? When you write that out, then that becomes a goal in that aspect. It's that simple. What kind of perception do I want my kids to have about me? Write it out. That becomes the goal with regards to the way you relate to your kids. You want your kids to see you as a very mean, heartless man. Then that's a goal. I'm happy for you. But you want your kids to see you as a man, a father that is inspiring, that never gives up, that always anything he lays his hands on prospers, that things always happen for, blah, 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 blah. Then that's your goal. Then you know that every project you start, you ensure you complete it. You know that, oh, if you have to do something around the home, the house, you never get to say, oh, I forgot to do it. If it means putting a reminder on your phone, you put a reminder. Why? Because you are working on improving on excellence. Pastor taught us that there's excellence at different level. You're pushing yourself, your level of excellence, from a grade one level of excellence to a grade four level of excellence to a grade 10 level of excellence. So if you're reading, you're pushing yourself to read more. If you are teaching your family, you are constantly studying so that there's something new to teach your family. If it's to care for them, you're constantly pushing yourself so that you're able to say, all this work for being a man. Yes, we're not playing here. Being a man, being a husband, being a father is not for sissies. It's for men. So, but a man is supposed to be soft. A man is supposed to be kind. A man is supposed to be, well, if that's the kind of man you want to be, then go right along. But if you want to be the kind of man that raise confident children, not proud, confident, spirit-filled, tongue-talking, demon-casting children, then the practice is not on the altar in church. The practice that gets you there is on the altar in the house. It's in the altar in your house. That is where they form those skills. It's in the house where you are king. Say, but we go to church every Sunday and every Wednesday. We go to church. What do they do when they are in church? Do you even know? What do they do when they are home, when you are not there? All this comes together from the question I asked, what kind of family do you want to have? Because the moment you ask yourself that question, how do you want your family to be described in the next 50 years? You ask yourself that question, you are able to write down something, then you start to work at it. Before you know it, 1 year passed, 2 years passed, 3 years passed. When you look back, you see how much you have accomplished in the ways you have chosen to raise your children. I'll give a personal example.
Coach, I know you're currently. Okay, back. Coach,
Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. When was the last thing you heard? Hello, what was the last thing you heard so I'll know where to start from?
Okay, you were talking about the kind of the way you want your family to perceive you like yourself, that's the okay. You,
All right, thank you. Now I'll just start from here. Okay, so I'll give you a personal instance, right? Because of the way I'm building my family, right? In my son's school, they bring academic evaluation every 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, depending on how the calendar is, right? So what they do is they bring the evaluation in maths, in English, in science, in technology, and in some like five subjects. Then social skills, and other ones, right? Now for the ones that they score, you could call it a typical Nigerian way of looking at of academics, but I think it's a solid way of looking at academics, right? They score it from 0 to 100 for every subject, right? Five subjects. Then the other ones they use like excellent, satisfactory. So for that one, I told him he's not allowed to get anything less than excellent. I don't want satisfactory. I want excellent. And I'm talking about a soon to be 7 year old, right? Now, for the ones that is being scored from 0 to 100, I told him that the least he's allowed to score is a 95, but that the right score to have is 100. And you say 100 over what? 100 over 100, right? So get this, that's how it's been. So that we have this new neighbor that have been coming to our house, and my wife was telling me the other day that whilst the neighbor's child and my son, they were doing their assignments together. The neighbor is one class um, older than my son, right? And the neighbor scored, I think, 70 in their own evaluation, and she was happy and all. When she was showing signs of happiness and all, my son looked at the neighbor and like, "Why are you happy? You scored 70." And neighbor like, "No, my mom said that 70 is a very good score." My wife was there. So my neighbor's child looked at my wife and said, "Auntie, is 70 not a very good score?" And my wife said, "Yeah, yes, yes, 70 is a very good score." So my son looked at her and said, "But daddy says on the only good score is 100, right?" And then my wife said, "But 70 is also a good score." That's what she said. She told him. So when I returned, she told me, I'm like, "Never in your life will you tell my son that 70 is a good score. Don't do that. Don't cause division." And you see, I did not mispronounce that word. I pronounced it the way it rings in my brain. It's not division. That's the way he's pronounced, but I call it division. Why? Because you are creating two visions. So I said, never again in your life would you say a thing like that to my son. And I said, are you hearing my voice? I am very serious. If I say to my son that 70 is a terrible score, no matter who's there, you cannot please the neighbor's child to confuse my son. You are not allowed to do that. I'd rather the neighbor's child is confused, but the neighbor's child is confused for the better. The neighbor's child should go home and say, "Oh, I just went to Leroy's place, and in Leroy's place, they say 70 is a bad score, that the only good score is 100. That's a way to inspire that child. If he wants to now make the child work harder, good. If he doesn't make the child dumber, okay. But don't make my child dumber because you want to make somebody else feel good about themselves." Did you hear me? She said, good. And that was it. The next 2 days or so, my son's evaluation came in. Guess what? He had 100, and one particular topic, he got 104 because he got a 4% bonus, 104 over 100. Then in one of it, he now scored 74. So I said, there you have it. You see, you have allowed 70 come into his results. So I had to sit him down and tell him 70 is still not a good score. Our aim is 100. Now, my wife will say to me, you are pushing him hard. I'm like, let the hard pushing start from me because of where he's going to. Yes, I buy him gift. When he scores, I give him gift. I listen, I do all that. But because of where I'm taking him to, I'm making him jump through these hoops now and get used to going through these hoops and getting this done. Why am I pushing him? Do I feel comfortable pushing him that hard? For those that know me personally, you know that I'm a very nice, loving, easy person, right? But because of my vision for my family, I have to swallow all that niceness and be tough. Know when to take the carrot and know when to take the stick. I am not saying be rough, but being tough with understanding, with knowledge, with wisdom. Someone have asked me, so BSO, what's the vision for your family? Say, I'm not telling you. Go find yours. Set yourself. Go face the wall. Speak to your maker. Ask your maker, what's your vision? That's where the work is. There is no ChatGPT of your vision. The only ChatGPT or AI search that you need to know your vision is God. Go and face the wall and ask him, what did you create me for? What did you make my family for? Spend the time. Find out. Don't be lazy. Because if you are, to reflect on your family. Find out. Then do the work to get your family to where they are supposed to be. You are the head. If you allow the devil take you easily, your family is gone. It will be like your generation never came. So it's not something you take lightly. Let the description of masculinity in your family be such that it stands out for generations.
Mhm.
That man provided for his family. That man raised kings. That man raised a generation that changed the world. Let that be the kind of thing that is said about you and your generation. And let it not be accidental. Let it not be a one-time magic, one-time wonder. You got it right one time. You have 4 kids, only one turned out well. No. Even if you have 10 kids, ensure that they stand out. So you have to be very clear about what family is to you and how you want your family to be. I am not telling you all the 1 step, 2 step, 3 step on how to have a good family. I'm not going to do that. That is what you get from a regular class. I'm asking you to grow up and be a man, grow some balls, sit down, take a day off from work, lock yourself in a room and say, I am going to understand what kind of family I want to have. Search the spirit, write it down, make it clear, and come out with eyes blazing to raise the kind of family that will stand solid anywhere they go. Now, this does not mean, oh, that means you're no longer loving to your wife because you have to be a militant. No, that's not what I'm saying. You are as gentle as a dove, but now you have become as wise as a serpent. Because the spirit of wisdom, you have now ignited it from the inside of you. You now have understanding. You now have clarity of vision. You do the work. It's not a microwave project where you just click 1-2 seconds and click, it clicks and everything is all hot. No. What kind of husband do you want to be? What kind of father do you want to be? How is masculinity being described in your home? How? What is the reason for the existence of the family you have created? You should know. After all, you created it. You should be clear. It should be clear to you. All right. So this class more or less is more like a challenge to you. And I hope that you've been challenged by it, by the class. I hope that you now see reasons why you need to have a family vision, how I want to describe masculinity. So maybe one of the take-home assignments will be send me a short definition, not an AI definition, please. Your own definition of what you want, the way you want masculinity to be described with regards to your family. What kind of man do you want to be described as? An old friend of mine said that when he dies, this is what he wants to be written on his tombstone. And he read it out that on his tombstone, he wants to be said that this man was a man that lived for this and died for this and is about this business. What would you like to be written on your tombstone if you were to go by the way of the grave? What would you like to be the description of you as a father? A deadbeat father, a father that was never there, a father that does not understand, that doesn't care, or a deadbeat husband, or a husband that is just good enough for sex, or a husband that just gives money and does not care for anything else? How do you want to be? Or you want to be a husband and a father that can be said to have been involved in the building of a family that he has created? Not just being a father, but also being a dad. For they say being a father is to just give birth, but being a dad is hands-on. You raise the family in the image that God has made you, not in another man's image. You raise the family in the image for which God has called you to be. Do the work. When the rest of the house is sleeping, you get up, walk around the house, speaking in tongues, laying your hands on all of your children, laying your hands on your spouse, laying your hands on everything that you can lay hands on, and speaking the power of God into it, into the home, into the family. Do you take time to do that? And when you're doing that, what is the baseline with which you're doing? What is the vision you have in your head when you are laying hands on your children and when you are making those declarations? when you're prophesying over your family, when you are acting in the office of a priest over your family, what is the vision you have in your mind when you are making those declarations? What are your confessions over your family? What are the confessions over the future of your family into the generations, the ones that are yet to come on board? Are you priest over your family? Are you a watchman over your family? Are you a watchman over your wife? Are you able to treat your wife so good that your wife is able to effortlessly call you Lord? Have you put yourself in that position where your wife can actually call you Lord without any air of inferiority, any air of ambiguity? You know, call you Master, call you Lord from the depth of our hearts in submission, knowing that indeed you have proven your seat as a Master, as a Lord. I asked someone, a young husband, a while ago, about what it means for. I don't know if it was in the group or personally, and I asked like, "Do you think your wife can call you Lord?" And the person laughed and said to me, "At this day and age, women cannot call you Lord." And I laughed. I said, "Don't say this day and age. Speak for yourself, because there are yet many women that call their husband Lord." Because the men have grown up to earn it. They've earned their respect in many ways that they feel somehow if they don't even refer to their husband that way. Be that kind of man. Sarah did not call Abraham Lord because Abraham was terrorizing her or oppressing her. She called Abraham Lord because Abraham had proven to be her Lord, not by wickedness, but by loving strength. Have been able to protect her, have been able to care for her, have been able to provide for her, have been able to lead her spiritually, physically, and economically. Make up your mind to be that kind of man. It's never too late to start the journey. Be that kind of man that your children would want to be like. They will look at you and say, who would you want to be when you grow up? They say, my dad. Not somebody else, not one footballer, not one person somewhere. Without thinking, say, who do you want to be when you grow up? Say, my dad. Be that kind of father. Be that kind of husband. Be that kind of leader. Make up your mind. Pray. Declare it. So being that kind of man is not a walk in the park. It's not wishful thinking. It's work. Planned, focused, non-distracted work. You are at it every day. It's one of your driving force to be the hero of your family. Hero that the heroicness of your being would echo in history. I have a granddad, or I had a granddad because it's passed on now. We have a group that we are in, and we call it grandchildren's group, right? So my granddad's name is there. So and so grandchildren's group, right? It shows the influence of my grandfather. He was so influential to even our own generation that we created a group in his name. So all my granddad's grandchildren are in that group. At least all of them that are above 18 are in that group where we talk, we plan as grandchildren of that man. And guess what? He didn't go to school. I think he had to leave school at primary whatever. He didn't finish primary school. So it was not about education. But he was so influential that almost 30 years
Hello. Maybe we're not hearing you. Hello. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back. It's just you can establish that connection. Coach, I
Really? Sorry?
sorry, stop you.
Did you hear me?
Yeah,
Or you stopped hearing me?
I can stop hearing you. Where you talked about your granddad. How that you to school.
Is that okay? That was the last thing you heard.
Yes.
All right, so I'll just go over that shortly, then we'll move on. Okay, I think I just have 10 more minutes left on the clock. All right, so I was talking about my granddad, and I said my granddad wasn't educated, but yes, he was able to influence his family and his environment so much so that his grandchildren had to come together to create a group in his name, in his honor, where we are doing stuff as his grandkids. We recognize ourselves as his grandkids, even though he didn't go to school, but he had enough influence over his family and his generation after him enough for us to still remember him and associate with him. And he was not educated, but he had a very clear vision. I remember times where I have conversation with him when I was much younger. He would tell me there's a name that he calls me personally. He'll call me by that name and says, in our family, we don't do this, we don't do that. This is how we act in this family. This is how we do this in this family. This is how we do this in this family. And that's the same kind of things that my father also will say to me. He said, no. And for those that have been in the group with me for a while, I always would make reference to this particular example where it was Christmas time and I wanted these glasses that kids used to wear, toy glasses that these kids used to wear, and toy wristwatch. And I went to my dad and I asked my dad, Dad, I wanted glasses and I wanted. And he said, oh, that if you want wristwatch, tell me and I'll get you a proper wristwatch. But those toy glasses are not made for your kind. And like I say, no, you are royalty. Royalties don't wear those kind of wristwatches or those kind of glasses. I was like, really? He said yes. And this stuff I'm talking to you now is almost 4 decades ago. But I still remember. Till this day, I still don't find myself doing stuff like that because I remember my father said to me, no, that kind of stuff is not made for your kind of people. That there was a class for this family, and that wasn't the class for this family. And truly, the first time I wore a wristwatch, I was actually wearing a wristwatch that he gave to me, was a Rolex wristwatch. As a young boy, said no, that kind of wristwatch is not for my class, my kind. I didn't know that there was a kind or a class because I was how old? I was very young. But he made it very clear. The day I spoke pidgin English around him, I was trying to dramatize something I saw on TV. He beat the pidgin English out of my mouth. Why? He said it was not the kind of thing that we spoke in our house. So he didn't beat me because he was angry, but because there was a standard. He showed me the standard. There's a standard. All over the house, he has writings all over in different parts of the house where he would create and put as like artwork, but they were writings. There was one I remember very well. He talked about if you know him very well, please don't bring gossip around him. That he does not tolerate gossip. It was written in an artistic way in the sitting room, one part of the sitting room. Say, please do me a favor, mind your own business. It's under artwork. I remember very well on his wall. So he had different artworks like that, all of them passing different kinds of information, keeping his environment in the state that he wants it to be, in control of his environment. I would tell my mom I wanted something. You say, no, your dad will not allow that. I say, but you've not asked him. So I know your dad. Your dad will not allow that. Your dad will not let you, not allow you go there. Or your dad will not allow you do this. But you have not asked him. You say, go ahead and ask him and see what the response will be. And 10 out of 10, when I go to my dad and say, Dad, please, could I do this? Say, no, you're not. You can't do that. So why? So because that's not what we do. That is not what we do. We are royalties. Here where I reside right now, my son returned from school the other day and was telling me how they told him that it was okay for guys to paint their nails and all those skin coloration and all that. And I said, okay, when you get back to school, tell your teacher that from the family that you're from, that you're not allowed to do. And I said, what kind of? I said, we are royalties. In our family, we're not allowed to ink our skin. Inking the skin is a sign of slavery. And because we're born free and we're royalties, we don't ink our skin. No matter how beautiful the artwork is, we do not ink our skin. No drawings on our skin. We're the temple of God, the house of the living God. We're not allowed to ink our skin. Do you understand that? Say yes. So what are we? So we're the temple of God. What are we? We're royalties. Good. So we don't ink our skin. So I'm not telling him it is bad, it is good. It is not a conversation about being bad or good. We do not do it. It is beneath us. It is not an issue of pride. Dog, cats don't bark. Dogs don't act like cats. It is not because cat is lower, this one is higher. No, we don't do that. This is my family. This is my family. So, what is your family about? What is your family known for? In my family, we respect each other, no matter your age. We show love and kindness to each other, no matter what is. If there is trouble, we save you first, then we treat the trouble. In my family, we never throw anyone under the bus. We do everything to save any member of the family, no matter the cost. We never leave anyone behind in my family. My own is your own in my family. This is our family creed. What is yours? So you're not a husband or a father because you want to be king to boss everybody around. What are you laying down? You are to the family what Christ is to the church. Christ laid down. What are you laying down? What are you putting on ground to create the family that you ought to create as a result of the instruction given to you by God? And with that, I'm going to round up the class now. I hope with this few points, I've been able to shed some light to you, make you have some questions for yourself, and hopefully you're able to bring forth answers that would help you create better framework on how to be a better masculine figure, a better husband, and a better father. At this point, I would like to hand over now to the hosts. Thank you very much for having me.
Wow, wow, wow. I feel so heated right now. It's the vibe where, the thoughts are very uh, fire, a good charge. I believe anyone that is in now can feel like what I'm in. And for those watching at later days, believe catch fire. And we have the then, just an attempt to send a short explanation how we want our family to be described, which is meant to you. So in any case, you're logged into this broadcast now. You'll be watching at the date. Make sure this assignment. It's very cool. But you just have things that show that you are to make the change. Because I would have one or two things. But since there's where you need to change, give examples to his own family, and you can give insight how it's raised his family. There is no realness. Things are following a pattern print. You can barely tell that he didn't get to them by such height. His father raised it, and his father raised a grandfather. So you can tell how it's going to turn out. So question you, question two is about using my turn, even the way I've been treating the family, it's about spending time to pray, but not just in the father house. When you go by the midnight and you're laying hands on every member of the family, declaring words. And Coach has made a very point here. It all begins with the television. And if a clear guide out In the case where issues, family vision, he said you should just do a vision to another 50 safe queries. What do you want to say to the family that you have? What should you teach about your family? What legacy? All those things begin to form you should put into family vision. And he said it's not something you want to go and look from ChatGPT that ChatGPT be a vision, or it doesn't do like that. It comes into place of prayer. Even to take the time to walk, maybe a day off, and you're fast, you're asking God, what is this fast about? This is raising. Coach, we're very grateful for your time, for the insights that you have given, and I believe that these words will show our life as improvement. We'll make the change, and we'll come back with testimonies. And in case you want to join ISME, we have a group. You can reach out via chat, just drop a comment, and a number will be sent well so that you can join us because we're building a community. Make sure you like this message. You love this the broadcast so that other people can get to see it, you comment and then subscribe. This we're building community works, raising, and I really like how he started. He said he's reaching one family at a time. He may not be able to reach the poor, but at least he family representation. So we are all hands at deck watching our to the right into the home that our this can come. Thank you, coach, for the insight tonight. It's been a blessing. I've been particularly wow. I guess this was worth my time. I believe it's people that have joined this class. In the case where you join this class, so, take part to the group. You comment on the group as well. Just see what the inside of the homes from the class today. Thank you so much. And till we come your way again, this is also aim I and this class will be communicated ahead of time and people would have more motivation to use. This definitely gain more changes. Thank you so much again, coach, for your time. Your time valued. This is the course that would have been premium for nothing short of say $100 to attend. But we value your time and thank you for giving of yourself. And as you are tired, you are worth that as well. Thank you so much. Until we meet again, Ace signs. Bye. God bless you. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. It was very fire. Wow, I have been impacted. Hello. 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 Good evening. You're welcome to our training seminar titled Unleashing the Complete Man. Um, I particularly love this topic because it cuts across the different fabrics of being a man, about being a father, being a husband, and being yourself as a man. And we're going to be having esteemed coach BSO um, teaching us, guiding us in light of the scriptures. And I believe it's going to be very insightful and very life changing. So it's something to look forward to. Even just give me stay tuned. We'll be right back. A few seconds. So we're here. What comes to your mind? What are you expecting from this class today? Um, what are you looking forward to? The word unleashing, it means several things, different peoples. You know, it has it could have a connotation, something that's going out wild. But in the context of what we're talking about today, it is coming out in the full force of glory, beauty, and excellence. That's what we're dealing with today. Um, so you're gonna just sit forward, relax. It's some things you would hear may come to you as new information. Just prepare your heart, be ready to receive, because I am testimony of Coach BSO's training. I recall some few years back, he gathered us some men in his apartment, and it was the topic was in the light of what we're going to be discussing tonight. And it was, in fact, when we discussed together that this was the topic for tonight, I just yes, I will give you facts. So, first of all, I wanted to apologize to both of you. I was busy, so I'm done now, and I have your time. Come, come, come. So I miss you guys. I love you so much, and that's why immediately I think I was looking for you. So I'm done now. But together, we spend the time together tonight. I love my babies. My two babies. I have kids. The first one name is 16, and the second one's name is Jeremiah. So the second one is Christian. Then another we have another name is Oluwa. Then Christine has other names too. She has Tiara Oluwa. She has Oluwa Nani. Oh, you call me TD. TD baby. Or you can call me. I have two members of both of you. English. Yeah. Yeah. And then you have mentors. One. Oh. It's from the next game, but who will be the first to get? No, no, this one. Oh, oh. Don't worry. It's not Wait. We're going to play a game. So, don't take the big one. I'll take this one. Don't worry, I'll just. This thing interest. You have to do one. I think you have a small one. You have a small one. Well, it's almost the same size. So much different. So, talk to me. Tell me about your day. What happened in your day? What happened in your day last night? First, tell me about your day. What did you do today? Today, you my size. That's not. I am really careful. My laptop. Yeah, talk to me. So, tell me about your day. What did you do? I know it's fine. It was fun. You woke up what? Yeah, you build yourself up. It's really oh. So it's good. It's true. Oh, so I show you. You don't have to shout. See, we're talking like this. You need to shout. See, he says you don't understand. Is it tight? Wait, is it tight? Yes. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. What drink do you have? Drink? Give me. Careful, my laptop. Be careful. See, laptop. Don't go there. Don't touch my laptop, please. Bro, so it's a fall from the blade. Careful. So, all my money. I want to say thank you so much to Coach. Say thank you so much, sir. You still want to say? Yes, what he did was that he taught us how to become better people. So let's say thank you so much, testing coach. The kids are saying thank you on my behalf. And of course, I'm saying it to them as well. Thank you so much for the time. Thank you for this minute and wise taking for granted. Thank you very, very much for so much, sir. We love you. Let's say thank you so much, testing coach. For granted. Now you're scattered everything this thing. Mm-hmm. Five. You know what? Before you come and first arrange this. Why?